The FT-21 Blitzwing breaks records again, aiming for a time frame between 2016 and 2025, when children graduate from elementary school to high school. After numerous revisions by the manufacturer, the final design likely won't disappoint. The backpack is the cleanest of all the current versions. The 9 years of waiting were truly worth it. The visible surface is painted, from the purple metallic paint to the silver-gray cover and yellow parts. The paint styles are diverse, with spray paint, electroplated parts, and transparent parts available. The length and thickness of the legs are perfectly balanced, with no exposed parts. Even the greatsword features thick, transparent parts to enhance the transparency of the laser weapon. In terms of materials, the visible soles of the feet, calf covers, hip parts, shoulders, and the invisible endoskeleton are all made of alloy. The cannon antenna on the head is a close replica of the animation. If you don't like it, you can swap it out with a standard back of head part. As for the tank cannon, it can be restored by simply flipping it out. The main point of accessories is that players don't have to use them, but manufacturers must provide them. The facial sculpt is also removable, and in addition to the current closed-mouth serious face, you can also change to a cunning smile, gritted teeth, and an open, roaring face. Next, let's compare the ST Blitzwing from long ago. The two are completely different in color depth, sharpness, body proportions, backpack thickness, and transformation methods. Of course, the final price difference is also quite significant. So, do you prefer the ST or FT Blitzwing? I probably like this Blitzwing the most because it's the Headmaster's version. Let's also take a look at FT's own Astrotrain. Who else is missing from the 3 transformation fighter? I don't need to say more. Reply his name in the comments. The movable parts allow for standard movements like raising and lowering the head, turning left and right, and lateral raises. Swinging the arms forward and backward is hindered by the shoulders and backpack, but elbow flexion is no problem. The wrists can swing and adjust, and the fingers can move independently. Bending forward uses gear joints, as does turning left and right. Kicks forward and backward are also gear joints, but the range of motion isn't very significant. Side kicks hold steady, and knee bends are also gear joints. The soles of the feet have a tight contact pad, making combat poses a breeze. Next, let's tackle FT Lightning's signature transformation process. The fighter form is remarkably neatly shaped, with the cockpit, fuselage, wings, tail, and even the thrusters clearly defined. However, the transformation process is certainly complex and takes time to master. The design highlights the concealment of the tank form's features and color scheme. As a 3-transform fighter, to allow for the tank's thickness, the fighter appears thicker from the side. To open the cockpit canopy, the nose must be folded downward at a certain angle, otherwise the fuselage will interfere with the opening of the surveillance hatch. Flipping over to the bottom of the fighter reveals all the tank features neatly arranged underneath. The 3 landing gear are equipped with wheels, but their purpose is more for support than for rolling. 2 weapons can also be mounted on either side of the fuselage as stowed weapons. Next, let's move on to the tank form. Part of the process of transforming into a tank is an inversion process. Essentially, it's all about flipping hidden tank elements to the surface. After the transformation is complete, the overall shape remains intact, with the only exposed fighter element being the front cockpit. From another perspective, the sacrifice in deformation and storage makes the tank's turret appear a bit flat compared to the body. However, the overall tank silhouette remains imposing. The turret has 2 opening hatches, and weapons can be assembled and installed into the turret's recesses to enhance firepower. The barrel can be extended and retracted to simulate the backward feedback force of firing, and the turret can also rotate 360 degrees. However, the tracks on the bottom are not designed with small wheels, so the tank form cannot roll, making it more suitable for static display. After 9 years of waiting and numerous revisions from the initial gray model, we finally have the Blitzwing that meets today's aesthetic needs. Are you satisfied with the finished design? Okay, this is Model Express, bringing you reviews of collectible toys. That's all for today's video. Please follow my channel, like, leave a comment, share, and see you next time.